Hello everyone, it's a beautiful Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown, and it's the beginning of fasting for our Muslim viewers. Welcome to the show. I just saw somebody come in. I just welcomed the person. Anyways, nice. So happy what they call it? Eid Mubarak to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Yes, that's what. Ramadan. Happy Ramadan. So, okay, so I read what Nima sent on the group.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Said, Ramadan Mubarak, yes. So, happy Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Okay, ladies, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody has gist today,
yes, so I need rest. The party was yesterday. I decided to give myself work by cooking, which I normally do. On a normal day, I would handle the whole, but I'm learning to outsource some things. Yeah, so I had to outsource the normal.
You see the huge pot of food.
I saw the pot now.
I took a picture.
I took a picture
of the huge pot, really massive.
So the kids are not doing school
thanks
this morning.
Thanks for having us. We had fun.
Yeah, we had fun. Thank you for coming. Thank you for honoring me.
So they didn't go to school yesterday?
No, they have to rest.
Today?
They have to rest. They will resume tomorrow. School is not running. They will survive. They will survive.
I love your hair.
Thank you.
New hair, pretty, like.
I'm just trying to get myself organized. My brain is still all over the place. How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. Very, very busy weekend, like extremely busy. So I had a speaking engagement with Academic Excellence Initiative.
How was that?
It was very nice. The feedback from me was good. And for me, every time I go and speak, I just want to be sure that, okay, I was able to communicate effectively what my thoughts were, and that I was able to do. Then that same Saturday, I hosted Chris Ero's show, the Wellness Show. And we had phone calls, people saying that it was just a reawakening for them to go into that self-discovery journey for themselves again. And it was really nice. Then on Sunday, we were at Obiajulu's house, and it was party. I danced. My kids
drank. They had that.
My kids ate like excessively, which was really like they ate too much sugar, and we're going to go on a detox for a week.
I had too much sugar.
But this week is extremely busy again. Like, what's happening?
Busy is good.
From Tuesday, I'm going to be in Benin. I'm traveling tomorrow. I'm going to be hosting a book launch, Graduate Code by Akinimo Udom. So he wrote a book about graduates, how to decode your life post-graduation. And I think every graduate should read it. I've read it, and I wish I can just maybe buy more and give it out during my birthday this weekend. And then I'm going to be speaking on the career talk at Igbinedion University. They're clocking 20 years, and so they're giving a career talk as part of their 20th anniversary, because we need to prepare our graduates more, so that when they get out of school, they are able to effectively meet the problem of society. So it's a busy.
Well done,
I'm really happy about it.
Everybody's speaking now.
Yes, so we're speaking.
That's good stuff. Hi, Mariam.
Fine. So
Very soon, she's going to join you now. She'll start speaking. I know you very soon.
We're working towards it.
Mariam, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I spent my weekend at Obiajulu's place. We were there on Saturday. Meanwhile, Obiajulu, I love your bed.
What happened?
It's so soft. I realized that the problem I have with sleeping is not that it's too stressed. It might be my bed.
Oh.
I have really hard mattresses.
Is that on her bed?
Yes.
On a Matribuna bed?
I don't know. Obiajulu has her own room, and then she has her conjugal room.
So that place that we were in, was it a conjugal room?
No, that's
your room.
Yeah. So that's where she puts me.
Into my conjugal.
Sorry. Cool.
Yeah, so thank you. My kids had so much
Thank
fun.
you for coming. Miriam was so sweet. She was helping me out in the kitchen, gisting with me.
She was the one that took care of all the kids.
Really?
Bathing them, because I dropped my kids over, and Samuel, I said, who brushed Samuel? So he said, Auntie. Took Auntie. I
need to be a very useful person.
I don't understand.
I need to become useful.
But you are. We just need to work within our strengths, you know.
Wow.
So.
Fantastic.
Like, if I come to your house and you're cleaning, I won't help you. I'll sit down and gist with you. I don't like cleaning.
Weekend was that. I was supposed to go to visit. I lost my in-laws. We lost somebody, and then somebody close to me passed on. I was supposed to go see them this weekend, but a lot of things happened. Guests just showed up in my house. We had gifts to them. Sunday was busy because I had to come over to the party. So, but I feel bad that I have not been able to go visit them. So maybe this week I have to try to
find time to.
Really close members of our family, loved ones. Really sad. Mr. Kanjayi passed on, and then somebody else passed on. Anyway, we're going to have to just take life a day at a time, because
day
you
at
never
a
know when it's your
time.
time. And it's painful to see your family members go through a lot of pain losing somebody. It's been hard, but hey, we'll get through
To
it.
survive. You have life now, so just make impact.
Well, you look so pretty though, like really, Regina.
Like
got
a doll.
You, as in the hair, the makeup.
doll,
I don't like this kind of.
everything.
I don't like this kind of perfect looking makeup, and because when people see me in church, they don't recognize me. I don't do this kind of makeup to church. So people see me and they're wondering, is that the same person? Like, it's the same person.
They're not looking
They
closely.
pancake me on the
They are
show.
not looking closely.
On Sundays, I'm just Mariah.
Yeah.
And they don't understand.
Well, you
They
still
don't-
look the same. I mean, Mariah, it's not like you do like extra makeup.
Makeup is
You
just
just look nicer
it's new.
or colorful. I don't know. You still
Okay,
look your
it's
beautiful
Monday.
self.
Not just
Let's
him.
go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay. Let's start with the Vanguard. How we survived bandits' attacks, Katsina Zamfara victims. Umaru Yaradua, legendary visionary and leader, says Jonathan and Atiku. Rivers, PDP alleges conspiracy at election tribunal. Power projects, Fashola names defaulting contractors. And Ramadan begins today. Truckload of poisonous pomo intercepted in Lagos. Gunmen abduct OAU lecturer on in Ife Ibadan Road. IGP has lost weight fighting banditry, says Buhari. External borrowing will throw Nigeria into recession again, Anglican Church warns. And bad politicians behind Nigeria's insecurity, illegal migration. Okay.
Inspector General of Police that they are saying has lost weight.
I didn't read that story. I wanted to read it, but actually it wasn't on page 9. I didn't find it on page 9, as I said.
Major
But finally, our minister has... Remember Serap took him up and saying that they should provide the list of defaulters. And he was able to send them a letter to those who... Fashola. Out of the 19 items that were supposed to be provided, only 13 were provided, and then he just gave them a breakdown. So I think Serap is happy. At least they have information on those defaulting. The next step now is who's going to hold them accountable. But let's take the major headline.
Yes,
the
so
bandits that were attacked.
there's this account by Adamu Salihu that, you know, they've been having issues, especially in Zamfara and Katsina, and this particular local government in Katsina, Kankara Local Council, they've been left to handle their issues, so they resorted to self-defense. On this particular day, they were told that they should hide their arms, as security operatives were coming, only for them to hide their arms, and it was bandits. So they opened fire, killed a lot of them.
Lord.
The same thing happened almost the same thing happened in Zamfara as well, where the bandits attacked the military base and killed about 15 soldiers. But the military men are saying it's only 5 of them that died. I think we should do more. I really do not know why the governor, the security officials are not doing. They keep having meetings. They're even getting into another meeting right now to discuss, but then we are not seeing results.
And security in our country is
security
Recognize it's been
everywhere.
9 years since Musa Yar'Adua passed on, yes, and former President Jonathan and lots of dignitaries have been paying their respects and just paying tributes to him.
It was
So,
really a small
9
headline,
years,
though, like
yeah.
really small. Mariah, I want to talk about the kidnapping in OAU. Yes, so Professor Adegbenigbe was abducted on the Ikire, around Ikire area, which I passed recently, very recently.
passed it off, too.
And they said gunmen were shooting sporadically into the air. The man was in the car with 2 passengers and his wife, and they took him out, and he's been kidnapped. The information has been passed on to the media person, said they have confirmation that he's been kidnapped. The wife is in the police station trying to report the entire detail of the case. They don't know much about it, except that it was specifically kidnapped within that Ikire area of Ile-Ife.
Moving on to the Punch. State of public varsity libraries worrisome, says ASU president. Picture here of the Russian-made Superjet 100 catches fire in the mid-air in Moscow. Police arrest 6 for alleged sale of poisonous pomo. We mentioned that already. UTME, 5 jailed for exam fraud. 123 others facing trial. Ramadan prices of tomato, pepper rise by 60% in Lagos. That's expected. How to end godfatherism in Lagos is El Rufai. Tribunal to issue notice to hear Atiku's petition this week. And presidency attacks media as Buhari returns from UK. Okay.
So El Rufai came
Yes.
to Lagos. That's the governor, El Rufai of Kaduna State. And he came to address an event that was organized by it's at the Bridge Club. It's an evening with His Excellency. So it was just for him to interact with business executives. So they're like top executive guys. And during the program, he encouraged them to get involved in politics, that we cannot let Nigeria be ruled by people that don't have the skill or the competence to handle it. A lot of them are uneducated. And so Muiz Banire spoke up that how do you end godfatherism, where you know that no matter how much you aspire to political position, if you don't appeal to the godfathers of the community, you can't become anything. And El Rufai gave us a blueprint of how this can be done, step by step, how he ended the rule of 4 godfathers in Kaduna and how it can be done in Lagos, even gave them a budget of what they need and a breakdown of how it can be accomplished. That if you want to take over Lagos in 2023, start running from now, making it known what you want to do. So,
according to him, according to him,
he was shaking some tables.
If you Googled lots of countries and the leaders in this country, you see many of them are well competent, they're educated. Some of them went to Yale, Harvard, Princeton, and all that. That most of our leaders, none of them didn't even go to school. None of them didn't have proper bachelor's degree. So we are obviously we get the leadership we deserve, and that we need to if businessmen really want to get involved, instead of he now used the Lagos blueprint that we have 6 million voters, registered voters, only 1 million. Voted. That's 5 million is there doing nothing. That if you want to run in 2023, you can start looking at that 5 million. Find out why they did not vote and begin to appeal to them because it's about the numbers. So I mean, he made some good points to make.
Go and study it if you have plans.
Jam. Joint
Jam.
Yes.
Okay. I say jam. I was thinking jam.
They've suspected 5 suspects from that has been arrested for malpractice. Examination malpractice has been arrested and jailed for 3 months and 2 years. They also have about 123 suspects in custody at the moment, awaiting trial. So that's just what they posted. But I believe that this is a step in the right direction, if you ask me. I know that there are young children who are writing these examinations, but the parents have a role to play because we've gone through years of doing special centers, you know, where parents pay for their children to pass examinations. And then we go to school and you have half-baked graduates who cannot write a proper application. And everybody's complaining the country is not going forward. So if you know now that if you don't read and pass, you are caught in examination malpractice, you will be prosecuted.
This is a good one for
That's
Jam.
good. Major headline, yes.
Punch is uncovering the issues with the library in most of Nigerian universities. So they had reports from many reporters that had visited multiple universities, cataloging the issues they have with their library, that most the public university libraries don't have current books. Some of them have books that, most of the books are 30 years old and the facility dilapidated. Then you don't have generating sets that are functioning. When there's power outage, you cannot read them. They don't have an e-lab that you would probably be able to get online resources. Some of these online resources they need to be subscribed for, and the subscription are not paid for, generally cataloging the issues within our educational sector.
This is sad because growing up for me, I lived close to a library. So my mom would, because she would go to work for hours, so she'd just leave us there. And then when the library closes, we'll close from the library, we'll do our homework and everything. And read. So I would read all sorts of books. But it's true, even then you could tell that the books were already, you would see no back page.
We wonder what they used with the budget, because I know my father-in-law was the former university librarian in OAU, and people used to then talk about, he used to talk about the budget they gave to them, which was, was substantial, and he used to be very accountable to the VC on how it was spent. A lot of people think that because he's university librarian, he should be able to get a certain amount of money to himself in his pocket, but he was very judicious on how he used that money. So I wonder, what are the universities doing with the budgets given to them?
The problem is that we don't even have a reading culture. So you just barely read the manuals that are given to you in the university just to pass that examination. And so they don't equip the library because most students sometimes don't go there except they need to do a research or project. So if we change that, our reading culture, things will happen.
Okay, all right. Let's take one more paper. I believe Daily Trust. Patients decry high cost, poor services at teaching hospitals. We've been on this case for a while. So I like the fact that journalists are putting these issues on the fore. That's the health, education. There was one where they talked about, I think it was roads, I believe, or I can't remember.
It was still education, but looking at it from the angle of, they've been talking more about health and education, and I think it's important.
Buhari returns from 10-day visit. We talked about that already. CP relocates to Daura over Magazines, Gary's abduction, really?
Yes, that's the...
Wow,
That's the abduction we've been talking about.
I know, I'm just wondering why. Okay. Nigeria uninhabitable for young people, says Onayekon. 9 years after Jonathan Saraki paid tribute to Yaradua, and NCC harmonizes data with NIMC, verifies SIMs. Okay,
So
any story?
The major headline,
Right.
as we said, education, health is being highlighted
Very
constantly
crucial.
now, and they're talking about the teaching hospitals across Nigeria, obsolete facilities, everything falling apart, and yet the cost is just increasing, and then it takes them many days to see. You go to the hospital, it takes you many days to just see a physician.
Yeah,
But the cost of all these things is still increasing.
You know,
and that most ailments are unable to be dealt with in these teaching hospitals because
I
of
like the fact that they are
dilapidated state
highlighting this, because actually this will help educate Nigerians more, help them to understand what and what we should pay attention to. Like, the budget has been passed now. We need to go back again and see
and look at
what has been allocated for health,
education,
infrastructure. Those are important aspects that Nigerians need to begin to understand. So as we approach 2023,
No,
you are going with information.
There's a long
now.
time before 2023. Right
Yeah.
now, we are going to be having ministers in the next few weeks.
Yeah, but they've already passed the budget. So regardless of who the minister is,
The president
there's an amount
has already
allocated
gotten
for them.
reports from the ministers on what they say they have done.
Okay.
Now, I'm expecting that the president should look at the reports by journalists who are unbiased on what actually is what is on ground. So compare it to what they say they've done and decide who will be the next person.
Only 5 naira. That 5 naira, we want to see you use the judiciary because we know the issues that are happening in these various sectors. Okay, so maybe we don't have to wait till 2023. Exactly. Let's see what the ministers are. Okay, can we take Guardian? Again, Boko Haram kills soldiers. Salt and others urge prayer for Nigerians as Ramadan begins. Picture here of our president's return. See Femi Adesina smiling. My guy is back. Okay, EU, Germany move to grow Nigeria's non-oil sector. How shareholders' activism ensures accountability, protects listed firms. And I think that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we talked about the fasting. Muslim fasting starts, I think, today or yesterday?
Today.
We're going to have somebody come to the show and explain to us how and who should participate in the fast. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So today the Muslim faithful started their fasting. Most people don't know the importance of fasting this season. Our guests will be highlighting the importance of fast and those who can fast and those who can't fast at this point. Joining us on the show is the Imam of Masjid Solihin Alhaji Ustaz Moibi Nurian. Welcome to the show, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So fasting has started today, and give us a general understanding of this period, Ramadan period, and those who are exempted from fasting and how they can actually make up the fasting later.
We seek refuge from Allah, from the accursed shaitan, and we begin in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Fasting in the Islamic religion is compulsory, and the compulsory nature of this fasting is as a result of a verse in the Holy Quran, which is the book that guides us in our worship. And that's Quran 2, verse 183, where Allah himself said, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, kutiba alaykum as-siyam, kama kutiba alal ladhina min qablikum, la'alakum tattaqun. So Allah said, O you who have believed. So which means the fasting is not just what anybody who is even the Muslim, because there are some things that has to do with the belief.
Right.
Said, O you who have believed, fasting has been prescribed for you, ordained for you, as it has been prescribed for those before you, so that you will be pious, so that you can gain piety. So that means, as a result of that verse, it means it's compulsory, and also we have something to gain from it.
Right.
If at the end of the 29 or 30 days of the fasting, you are not able to gain piety, it means the fast is just a waste of time.
Wow. Okay. So I wanted to ask, what is the significance of the fast itself? Because does it just have to do with abstaining from food? What is it teaching? What is it? What are you hoping to achieve with the fast?
Thank you so much. Ramadan itself, in Arabic, it's gotten from a name, Ramadan, and it means burning and eats. And it means that in the course of fasting, it's expected that somebody that is fasting will abstain from eating and drinking. And also, we also fast with every part of his body. And also, Ramadan, as a concept, is seen as a kind of a seminar, a kind of workshop that you want to go for about 29 or 30 days that will teach you how to spend the remaining 11 months. So as a result of that, the word is gotten from Ramadan, which means your activities during the month of Ramadan is enough to completely burn your sins before and after that Ramadan.
So I like that you said that, because, you know, when fasting starts, usually you hear people say, I can't lie to you, I'm fasting. So I always wonder, so when you are not fasting, you can lie to me. And now I want to understand from what you've explained, when you say that what you do during Ramadan has the capacity to burn all your sins. So is it that they do that and then make sure, so that by the time they are done fasting, they are paying for their sins before it happens? You know, because is that what it is? Because some people seem to say, okay, I'm fasting now, so I will tell you the truth. But after fasting, then everybody goes back to status quo.
So that takes us back to the essence of the fasting. You know, for everything you do, there should be a reason for it. If the reason why you want to fast in the month of Ramadan is to gain piety, and we said the piety, for example, when you are fasting, you are not expected to eat or drink, even with the food you have bought with your own money. You don't take it. So it is assumed that what people say most times, when they commit a sin, and they go back to say, it is Satan, it is Shaitan, it is Satan. So if you cannot take a food that you have bought lawfully during Ramadan because you are afraid of a God that you have not seen, that you know in your mind that the God is actually seeing you, then what will take you after Ramadan to go and take what does not belong to you?
Right.
So now, most religion, like I wouldn't want to assume every religion, but I'll say most religion preach fasting as a way of building self-discipline through those abstinence period to, and also connect on a spiritual level, because you're staying away from every distraction and your heart connects with God. And the benefits are immense for habitual change. You know, they say if you can create a new habit for 21 days, you become that person. But we see people refrain from some habits only for that 30 days, and then they sort of feel like they have the freedom, when I'm done with these 30 days, to go back to those things I've been doing before. Can you help us break down the benefits of fasting and how you're supposed to actually permanently change based on the fasting period and the consequences of just going back to sin when you're done?
Sure. Thank you so much. Now, let me remind people of the word of the prophet who said that. He said, whoever cannot abstain from vain talks and all acts that will lead to deceit, that Allah is not interested in his not eating and not drinking. And when we talk about fear of Allah, which is what we want to gain, what the scholars have said about having piety is that you always have the consciousness of Allah anywhere, any day you are. In a verse of the Quran, it is written that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if wherever you are two, Allah is the third. Wherever you are five, Allah is the sixth. Wherever you are not up to that number, then Allah is with you. And if you are more than that, Allah is with you. Even where life does not exist, Allah is there. So which means people have not been able to gain that consciousness of Allah that they ought to have gained during that month of Ramadan. In actual sense, a Muslim is not supposed to fear Allah during Ramadan alone.
Right. Okay, let me come, because I mean, when you sat down, Tokwe adjusted herself because she didn't want you to, you know, look at what you should be looking at. Now, I'd like to ask you, how can your Christian brothers and sisters help Muslims during this period? Because when I was growing up, there were issues that you can't put food near them, you can't dress seductively near them because they're fast, they want them to break their fast. What can non-Muslims do to help them, to support what you do this period?
Like the verse of the Quran I quoted earlier, And even in my little research, I got to know that, as Allah said, that fasting has been prescribed to you as it was prescribed for those before you. So I got to see in Jeremiah 36, verse 9, in the 9th month, that the king in Jerusalem at that time commanded people to fast at that time. So which means for us to live happily in the kind of society that we are, that we know it is not only the Muslims that are there, and we have cause to meet in our day-to-day activities. So once you have it in mind to respect your fellow human being, and you want to respect his religion as well, then definitely everything you know that would not enable him to do what he's doing.
So for example, don't eat around them.
Yeah.
Don't eat around them.
Can you give us a breakdown?
Give us a few things that we shouldn't do around.
Like,
And what the Prophet told the Muslims, if somebody walk up to you who does not have the knowledge of what you are doing, what you tell him, provoke you to the extent that probably will even resort to abuse or a physical conflict between you, you should tell the person, "Inni sahim, I am fasting," so that whatever
may
you
know.
should
So
not be
they
able to.
always say, they'll be like, I'm fasting. They always say, like, don't provoke me.
Yeah, so that you just walk away from.
I've been curious about the mode of fasting or the way you people fast, because growing up, I knew that fasting was you wake up in the morning and then you abstain from food till evening. But then when I see my Muslim brothers around me, they wake up very early, they eat very early before they commence their fasting. What's the reason for that?
Yeah, thank you so much. Like the Prophet told us in one of his words, he said that what makes our fasting to be different from that of the people of the books that were given scriptures before us, that's the Christians and the Jews, he said it's because of the pre-dawn meal that we call sari, sahur, the food we take in the morning, that is before 5. So we take the food, and the scholars have said the essence of that food is that God has realized that the Muslims are the later generation that comes after the Christians, and we don't have the energy to do as much as they do before. We fast. Those days, they take food last night. They will not eat until it's going to be difficult. And because people...
with you people.
Yes.
So that's the reason.
That is the reason why you see a lot of people participating in it. If it were to be like that, quite a lot of people will be deceiving people. And they'll just tell you they're fasting. Because the religion is supposed to be...
We have to run off, but I know Mary wants to throw something else real quick.
One quick question. Some people, when they fast, then they just sit down under the tree and not do any work. Is that what the Prophet is saying?
No,
Please
that's
tell
not,
them.
that's not good.
Can we work
in
when
fact,
we are...
when we are fasting, we are supposed to work. We are supposed to engage in adhkar, things, remembrance of God. When fasting is not all about eating or drinking alone. You have to abstain completely from everything that can render your fast void. So invariably, you have to occupy yourself with something, whatever you are doing. Now it is even expected of a Muslim to do better, because now it's assumed you wake up earlier, then you have
start your day
early.
Yes, you are not expected to be late to work. Because
thank you very much for giving us an understanding.
Sir.
We hope to bring you back towards the end of Ramadan. So hopefully to review again what you've gotten and going forward after Ramadan. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll discuss this mass wedding that happened in Kano. Me, I don't understand it.
Okay,
Stay with
happening.
us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So the Kano state government, according to reports, conducted mass wedding for 1,500 prospective couples across the 44 local government areas of the state over this weekend. So we ask, is this process necessary to curb immorality? And should this be encouraged in other states? Our TVC Kano State correspondent, Ibrahim Issa, is on the phone to give us some understanding or shed some light on what happened. After the call, you can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect, #YourViewTVC, so we can hear your thoughts and views. Mr. Ibrahim, are you there? Thanks for joining this program today.
Thank you very much.
So it was important for us to talk to you because we need understanding. Because we read different reports that the reasons why the governor conducted this wedding for 1,500 women. Could you give us a clear picture of what happened and why it happened?
Yes, yesterday, Kano State government under Abdullahi Ganduje conducted the second phase in the series of mass weddings by the government of 1,500 couples. That's 1,500 male and 1,500 females. Now, this is the second time. The first time was in February 2017 when the government conducted mass wedding of 1,520 couples. Now, the reason given, provided by the government, is based on economic, looking at the economic perspective that people cannot, because of poverty, get married, and also the incessant level of divorce in the state. So the government is trying to curb that manners of divorce.
Okay, Ibrahim, I think I read that also. Plus, help me understand something, because in my own brain, I don't understand it. Let me explain why.
Okay.
If I see the economy has a problem and the people are finding it difficult to get jobs, if I was a governor, what comes to mind is to empower the men or empower the women to get jobs so they are comfortable. I don't think marriage or getting them married was going to help to curb the economic hardships of the people. So help us make that connection. How is the governor thinking that getting these people married will solve the economic problem?
Okay, they are looking at it from the social angle, and part of the package being provided by the Kano State government is 10,000 naira cash sum as a startup capital, and it was given to the bride that the money should be used by the bride to start up a small business, so that it could help the family make a living.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Ibrahim, Isa, for giving us some clarity on this. Okay, ladies, you've heard our correspondent. He covered this report. So, according to him, that's a way of empowering the women. They give them beds, I believe. They give them wardrobes. They give them clothing. They give them so many things to get married with, and hoping that and with the 10,000 naira cash, hopefully that will help them to get out of this economic breakdown. What are your thoughts on this, your views? And I would like to hear our viewers' views also. So, Wejilu, go ahead first.
Of all the problems we have to alleviate poverty in the land, is marriage that the governor thinks can solve it. The minimum wage is still lying there. They haven't even started implementing. We're not even sure if some states can afford to pay. We don't know if Kano can pay. And yet, it's to fund a mass wedding with 300 million naira.
Thank you for even bringing up that issue, because the marriage means going to produce children. Who would take care of these children? Because that's more people.
Population.
I don't understand.
Ganduje, Governor Ganduje is a very, very he's an old man, so very old. He looks really old anyway. He's in his 70s. So the mindset you would expect from someone like that would be, old school mindset. I just want to find.
He's old. He's not thinking like that.
No. He's not that old. Ganduje is old.
Okay.
But you need to understand. You need to deal with the fundamental issues. Marriage is seen as an achievement. Kano has the highest divorce rates in Nigeria. He is trying to address a problem, albeit we don't like the way he's addressing it. He is actually trying to address a problem. Comically, I was of the opinion that, they say that 400 out of 500 textile companies closed down, leaving many Kano citizens unemployed. And that this is a way, and the unemployment led to a lot of the divorce. Rather than solving employment, Kano state government decided to just give us
them together.
So
wedding
is it that
ceremony.
is it that people are running out of ideas, the governors are running out of ideas, or they're only going to use their own belief system on the people? Because
Ganduje's way works because he's been voted back in. Ganduje was the one in few years ago gave people noodles and wheelbarrows and gave them polish. gave them polish and created Mishai as a job provision for the people of his state.
Okay.
It's about, and they feel he's done something. It's about what, and they're okay with it, because if you believe that you have the interest of your people at heart, you would provide what would help them in future.
Okay, I'll come to Mariam. Let me take this call, then I'll come to you. Thanks for calling. Are you there?
Hello.
Ibrahim, go ahead, please.
How you doing?
Very good. Go ahead. You're live.
Go
ahead, Mariam.
Okay, so on the face of it, really, I know, I understand Obiojulu's almost yes, outrage. But, you know, I decided to just read up on it and see why. And, you know, a lot of times when we sit down here, we say we need to find indigenous solutions to our problems. We don't have to always go to World Bank, America, China. Let us see what it is that we can do indigenously.
Okay.
So Kano, for me, has identified a problem. One, high rate of divorces, it has identified many problems, high rate divorces, and because of that, children are not being brought up in their homes. So you have children just going around, and then they are falling into crime, they're falling into drugs, they're being used as terrorists for Boko Haram. So, you know, these are all the things that, they're thinking for them, the thinking for them now is, the home is the center. Charity begins at home. If we can make sure that we have families that are together, father, mother, make sure that children are taken care of. Then maybe all this fallout from broken marriages.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation and hear your thoughts and views on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Let me come back to Mariam, because I know that Emir Sanusi, a few others have said in the past that education is important in the North, that the governors, the leaders there must invest in education, turn a lot of mosques to schools and try to empower people, because obviously poverty has taken toll for so long. And that's why 70% of poor people come from the certain regions. Now, so when you hear a governor solving a problem
in this manner,
by getting married, getting people married, to the normal ear, it sounds bizarre. So help me understand again. You're saying that this is just to fix...
But do you see how that works? First, if you think, if there are divorces and there's no parental guidance, when the schools come, who will make sure the children go to school? That's what I think. So if you have a parent to make sure that you're going to school, you're coming from a home, then you end up in that school. But there's another thing that they do, which is when they're doing like a screen test for these weddings, they do HIV tests, they do hepatitis tests, they do genotype. So you're also aware of your health status. I just think that Kano is doing a almost wise thing, like people want to get married.
Major issue. People feel marriage is an achievement, an accomplishment, because you have 10,000 women registered waiting for marriage in that society. 10,000. That is what they want. They want to be married, so they're looking for suitors to pair them with. But someone asked me that this is what the people want. He's giving them what they want. I don't think a leader should give what they want.
Is it what they need?
The idea of a leader is that you know what is best for the society. Regardless of what they think they want, you give them what is best for their future.
Yes.
So you invest 300 million naira into a wedding.
300 million.
Wow.
You invest 300 million naira into creating weddings and creating 1,000, over 1,000 families, new families. I feel that what caused the problem of divorce in the first place was that they had economical issues. So if you want to solve the problem, you don't cut off the branches. You deal with the root cause, which is solve the economical issues. So I feel that we need to, the people of Kano State need to become more aware that they deserve a better life. And they are entitled to a better life.
Information that maybe...
It seems to me that our governors are totally bereft of ideas. Because when they go to these governors forum, what are they discussing? What are you, when you go to these NGF meetings,
that's
where all the governors sit down together,
what do they discuss?
What do you discuss?
Okay, so
what are the objectives of these meetings?
Let me tell you one objective.
Has this idea in his head. Shouldn't another governor be wise enough to advise him that, guy, this is not the right thing to do?
Let me take this call from Owolabi. Sorry for keeping you. Go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning, Maria.
Go ahead, please.
I think this is just the beginning of the problem. It's not actually a solution. If they can invest that money, I mean, we talk on this. If they can invest the money on each one of them, I think they will be more productive. And you don't always say something that
Exactly.
That is just the problem in Nigeria. I don't know what our government are thinking. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. You see,
Placements
this
of
brings me back
priority.
to what El Rufai said in Lagos. You see, when you go to the people, become their godfather, it's difficult for you to actually, for them, they will continue to support you for life. So this 1,500 people are now
To ensure
totally
himself.
loyal to him,
Yes,
sold to
so
him.
they
And that's
will
how you keep
always
getting
vote
more and
him.
more people into your net and become a godfather to people. So I'm not saying that what he did, I'm just saying that I cannot see the real reason.
theory.
It's not a conspiracy theory. I'm just wondering what exactly is the
How
objective.
is going to increase their productivity in that state?
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on this hot topic. We hope that we wish the married couples happy married life and hope that you contribute to the economy of Kano State positively. Let's go on a break. When we come back, young people, politics is over. Your noise making on social media is calm down. What's next? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So elections are over, but young people still have important roles to play in government. So our guests will be joining us to be discussing roles of youths in various political positions. Joining us now is President Change Nigeria Youth and APC Youth Leader, Edo State, Mohammed Ashrat Abubakar. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you. You can call us on 07080668014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Before we start discussing with our guests, let's take a few tweets from the last segment. Go ahead, Tope.
Bello says,
Kozak says, health, hospitals, education, schools. 300 million naira would have seriously addressed these issues. Positive Venom says 300 million naira for getting 1,500 people married is another form of corruption. Okay. Believe me or not, he gave an opinion on Gajuje.
Ibelo says the idea is about those who cannot afford a marriage ceremony on their own. Not that the men don't have a means of livelihood, but the bride price, etc. Now that they are married, they don't visit brothels again, and the women don't become overreached.
Fantastic.
Waiting.
All right. Okay, so before we even go into talking about young people, I'd like to hear your own thoughts as a youth leader. If your governor or whoever calls the 1,500 young people, say, let's get married, as a way of curbing economic instability, societal ills. What are your own general thoughts on it?
It absolutely makes no sense.
Okay.
Because when you look at an economy, you have to think about the pros and cons before you do some things. For example, if I say that I am going to get 1,500 people married, so when you now get those people married, they have children, how are they going to take care of those children?
They get them 30,000 naira to start a business, I think.
That is the problem.
Okay.
Rather than building on the institutions, you give people money. Then the person finishes that money on taking care of his family, and in the next 6 months, he comes back and tells you, I'm out of money.
Exactly.
How do I take care of those children?
As a young person, what is your strategy? Or what do you think the strategy should be going forward to the next elections? What went wrong this last one? And what could we do to make it better going forward?
First of all, you have to start from the beginning of this phase, which is young people need to understand something. I feel like we have this sense of we deserve.
Entitlement.
That's exactly entitlement. But the thing is, when they said that thing, I'm not too young to run, I said it should have been not too young to perform. Because sometimes I feel scared for my generation, and that's why I started this Change for Nigerian Youth. Because I feel like it's a mentality thing. From this point, we need to tell ourselves, first of all, we will take a front row in the political space. How? How do we do that? Now, we have to say, number one, all this crime, criminality, political thuggery, those are the key things, because the older age politicians look at you as just a tool to be used for political thuggery and for them to achieve their own political aims. So you'll never ever get the point of seriousness where people will take you serious, that, oh, this is a serious generation.
you are sometimes in a meeting with them and they are laughing at your generation and saying, no, these guys they're not ready.
At all.
The reason why they say that, and I'll come to the ladies very soon, because when I hear people like you talk, I feel like, okay, maybe some of them are educated. When I drive down and I just see the real young people on the streets, those that are maybe not as educated as you are, they're the ones that engage in the thuggery, in the support, and they're the ones that can get the numbers for the politicians. So the conversation really shouldn't be between you and I or those in our generation. The conversation really should go back down to those people who are probably not as educated as you are, to make them understand why they need to take back their own country, why they need not to wholeheartedly support certain politicians. So if you agree with me on that, what are you doing to engage those people at that level?
Okay, first of all, we were going on town hall meetings, okay, and we're speaking on two very important things. And those things are religion and ethnicity. Okay. Now, when you brought down the problems of this country, you'd see that it must either link to ethnicity or religion. Now, let me talk about religion. I believe that everybody should have what they believe in. I'm Muslim, you're Christian. But in that sense, we should be able to relate. I have a problem with the correlation between the poorest parts of the world and how religious they are. I'm not saying we shouldn't believe in God. I believe in God. I'm fasting. But we should understand the real issues. When you do not have a job, it's not for you to run to the church and pay and cry and complain that, oh God, yes, you can pray about it. But the real issue is that your economy cannot sustain a job because companies cannot afford to pay salaries and keep that amount of people working. So you have that issue. So we must address the issues.
Yeah, yeah, okay, maybe there are a number of young people that may have the capacity, but, you know, from what we see reality on social media, the way they talk, the way they insult each other, and also, you know, even the way they speak, our youth seem to be the one that have fallen. I don't want to blame them, but we have a large number of almost half-educated, non-educated youths, you know, because of, so we do not even think that, yes, that they are capable, even educated enough to understand what needs to be done for our country. Secondly, we have what you guys, you know, before the election, nothing, youths do nothing. Then when election comes, they are up in arms, screaming and shouting, they want to represent. But before the time for election comes, what are you doing in between? What are you doing in your communities? What are you doing one-on-one? And then you come, you people speak a lot of English, a good amount of, but no then, action. You know, where's the work?
That's actually very true. I'm going to be very sincere. That is true. But, like I said, we have started this NGO called Change for Nigerian Youths, and the point for that is that we want to change the mentality of the normal Nigerian youth. We have seen that we are a bit laid back in politics, we are uninterested in politics, and that's the truth. You have a nation of about 202 million people, and then about 60% of this population are youth. So you need to understand the fact that education is very important. And education does not only mean in schools. Yeah, we can educate ourselves. Those of us who are educated can start to talk to ourselves. We would understand ourselves better. Even if it means speaking pidgin, we should be able to reach one another and let us understand that the only way forward is for us to do the right thing.
Young people coming together from all the parts of this country and forming our own, I mean, this is just a suggestion. I've always thought about it, but we need specifics. Because if we don't, you're very right concerning that mindset. If we don't change the mindset, there's only little that can be achieved. So if we get all young, imagine somebody from Jigawa coming, Nasarawa, everybody from the southeast, from the southwest, southside, coming to one room, and we tell each other the truth, and maybe even come together with a proper constitution that we believe in. Maybe people start taking us seriously, that we actually know what we're doing, because sometimes we get tired of the same old, we have to change our mindset. How do you change this mindset?
The problem is that this, the older generation would not be happy about that. We must understand that. They will not. So you will find situations where they will pump money into that system to break it.
Yes.
Because they know how smart this generation is. You would see in so many parts of the country. For example, I spoke about the Boko Haram issue the other time, and I said it, and I linked it to something. I said that if a young person was in power, for example, if you tell me how to do it, I can analyze. But it doesn't mean that I can put that into... A lot of young people know how to talk, like you said. We can talk about things, we can break it down, but can you deliver? Those are the issues. Now, you have young people in the police, young people in the military, you complain about insecurity in the country, but has anybody brought up police, military welfare for the young people that are holding the guns?
Let me pause you for a second. I have a call holding for a while. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Allah, go ahead, please.
Good morning, Moraya, and the rest of the crew there. First-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Firstly, I would like to take you back to the issue of Ganduje. And you see, the problem we have is that these people, they are all the same. They are all the same because what led Ganduje to go and conduct marriage for about 3,000 people is what led Yaya Bello, holding civil servants for about, I don't know how many months he's holding them, he's not paying his salary. All of them, the way they think is always baffles someone. Because if going on being relevant projects all around, why he doesn't pay the civil servant? That's number one. That's all I want to say about Gandhi. All of them, the way they think is always baffling one.
Right.
Secondly, on the issue of politics and the youth, you see, politics is not all about the youth. No. If you like, we can deceive ourselves from today to tomorrow. It's not about it. It is about purposely leadership. Who can deliver for us? Yaya Bello has not done anything. The Meji Bankole fumbled. So, and those are Ize Magufuli, Showore, and the rest like that, they find it difficult to come together, to synergize, to strategize. You see, it's not all about, even all the youth out there today, always, they are also following the footstep of those older men.
Yeah, you're right.
Because they cannot come together.
As a youth leader in Edo, let us hear your views on how we can help harness competence amongst young people and push these numbers forward as our candidates going forward.
First of all, can I respond to him? Because he spoke about some things about the youths are the ones killing them, doing, but they sponsor these things. So when you are talking about the issue, you must talk about what led to that issue. You are giving the environment for those things to thrive.
Of course.
When you see people that don't have jobs, you see people that are not educated, you have people, you go to the hospitals, the health issues, the health problems, and then you find a youth that is frustrated. So when you now say that they are the ones doing everything, you must, is the system okay for them to thrive?
Right.
That is one hand of it. The second hand is that we choose who leads us. They don't choose who leads us. We choose who leads us. Really? Because we have, sorry, I'm coming to that, because we have the numbers. But the problem is that the youth have been bought to go out there and vote. For example, I spoke about this Instagram social media voting because on social media, Atiku won the election. On social media, he won the election because I thought he was going to win. But reality set and then he did not win. That's because the youths are laid back. They are not interested in politics. So they will talk about it. They would give their opinion. But to go out to vote is a problem. They are not interested.
I don't want to get
So
shocked.
we have a people who do not even care because they are not emotionally invested in it because they feel it will never change. So for us to change our mentality, it is, you can talk about theory, but if you don't have a theory, you cannot put it into practice. You must know what you're doing.
We have to run. Thank you so much. We just hope that this world doesn't go back to social media, that we actually do something.
We have to do something.
And we'll do
about
that Youth Sovereign National Conference.
Yes,
It's a must. We have to do it. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.